gonna be brief, lengthy.
Yeah, 4 hours, no, I'll make it like 5 minutes or less.
But
Could identify yourself, name and address.
Sure, it's, my name is Michael Baril from the town of Uxbridge and also have land in the town of Warren. So I just wanted to just follow up from the last meeting when I spoke. I watched the YouTube video several times after the meeting. It appears that there's a lot of confusion between between all your board members on what was going on. So I just wanted to just spend a couple minutes just to help clarify that information. So, so I'll start right from scratch. So the issue was, some of you thought that I was here the last time and I was actually, I guess, giving you my complaint. That wasn't the case. I apologize if I didn't specifically say that, but I wrote a little timeline. This will just make it much easier. So for the timeline, we go back to February 28, 2019, which will be a year soon, and that's when I submitted a public records request here to the town of Rutland to get the records. On Wednesday, March 13, the Rutland town clerk emailed me and stated that all the records are ready to be picked up. I emailed her back and said, I'm busy today, but I can come the following day. So I came here on Thursday, March 14, 2019, pick up the records, wrote a personal check for all the records, and left. One thing that was kind of a weird thing was, that I don't understand this, is I had also requested copies of town council bills going back 2 years, and the response I got from the town clerk was that you do have town council, but there have been no legal issues and there are no town council bills for 2 years. And I'm not sure if I don't believe that as being true, but I found that suspicious, and I asked her several times, you're gonna, you don't have any bills for 2 years? And she said, nope, no litigation, no nothing, no bills. I even asked her the name of the town council, and she also told me that she didn't know who that was. So that's one little tidbit, but anyhow. So then moving forward, on Monday, 3/18/2019 is when I emailed the formal written complaint to the town of Rutland, and it was sent to the police chief and your town administrator. So my complaint that you thought that I was complaining about the last time I was here, that complaint was given to the town on March 18, 2019. And this March would be a year that it's been pending in circles. One of the interesting tidbit things that I found out through my timeline is the following day at 9:44 a.m., the Rutland police chief acknowledged my complaint. And then I just got a piece of evidence from the Warren Selectmen's office, and it turns out that was something that, that there's something suspicious going on between the two towns. So on that day, the Rutland police chief notified that he acknowledged my complaint and that he would get back to me shortly and basically rectify the complaint. The truth is, and I apologize if I didn't clarify this, at the last meeting, the police chief, I actually emailed him once back outlining the complaint more in detail, which is what he was asking for, just a brief summary, and he never replied back, ever. So what I'm trying to clarify is, this complaint has been sitting in people's emails, and people here, including the town administrator, knew these complaints were dated from the 18th of March of 2019. So here's what makes me suspicious, and this just came from the chair of the Warren Selectmen's office. So him and I had a conversation yesterday, and we figured something out. So the following day, when the Rutland police chief wrote to me acknowledging my complaint, saying, please give me the specifics, there was the town of Warren drafted a letter that was emailed to Mr. Nicholson from the Warren Board of Selectmen secretary, and it was basically a letter dated the same exact day that the police chief notified me of my complaint, which was 2 hours and 10 minutes later, where the town of Warren put a cease and desist order on any citizens getting records relating to Warren police records from your dispatch center, that you can, it's basically a cease and desist saying, I am hereby ordering the town of Rutland to no longer provide any public records, and if any citizen asks for public records, they must go back to the town of Warren.
Through the chair, sir,
Go ahead.
if I could.
Yes,
Since you're,
yeah, so,
you've reached the 5 minutes, I just wanna ask, what are you asking of the Rutland Select Board? What can the Rutland Select Board do for you tonight?
well, yeah, okay, so.
Or is this something that should be placed on an agenda item?
Well, if we can step back,
Yeah,
you did have a
Well,
discussion with the town administrator recently, correct?
well, and I would like to clarify that if I.
Well, the issue is the town administrator and I are supposed to have a meeting, and then, he wrote back to me and didn't wanna have a meeting. And then I wrote back
Okay.
saying because I also had another question.
All right, hold on one second, hold on one
Yeah,
second.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Can you address that?
Sure. In the email that I sent to you, Mr. Baril, last Tuesday,
Yeah,
I believe it was Tuesday,
yeah,
I had informed you that I brought the issue forward with our town council,
Yeah.
just so that they would be aware of the complaint that you had issued to the
Yep.
town, and was informed by them, as I said in your email, that complaints of this nature that allege a criminal investigation, as well as mention issues of monetary restitution, are outside the purview of what the town can do and must be filed with the district attorney's office or the state police office for a proper investigation into the matter. And that a meeting of such would be improper to address this issue for a complaint of such nature, as well as things as like restitution, further investigation, arrest of town officials, because a private meeting held to that nature with those items being discussed with regard to criminal investigations would tread on obstruction of justice issues if there is an actual criminal investigation. And I also said that this was not an admission of of any truth to what the alleged incidents or complaints are, but rather just the proper channel for the proper investigation to take place.
We would welcome you to put anything in writing. I'm gonna ask the chair that we
Well,
move
it
on.
Well, that's exactly where I'm confused, is the complaint was sent to the police chief, the fire chief, Laura Paradise, and Mr. Nicholson.
Okay,
And that
hold
was,
on.
And we have
that was
visibility
sent
on that.
almost a year ago,
No,
in
hold
March.
on, hold on. Didn't the town administrator tell you that there was a different avenue that you had to pursue with this?
Well, there's two separate things. The town administrator is specifically, because I have the chain of command chart, is specifically, according to the chain of command chart, of the Rutland Regional Dispatch Center. Because it goes,
Yeah, we
it
understand.
goes Mr. Moriarty,
We
and then it
understand
has the
that.
police and fire chief, and then it lists him. But any complaints against public employees, he acknowledged to me in email that that goes back on the Board of Selectmen. That's the Board of Selectmen's responsibility to accept complaints against municipal employees, which is separate from the issue from the dispatch center. And I say that because the police chief knew in March of last year that I filed a complaint. He emailed me back and says, I acknowledge your complaint, and I kept emailing saying, what are you doing about my complaint? So right now I'm considering the complaint abandoned, and I filed a second complaint of whatever the right word is, misconduct of the police chief for ignoring me on the complaint. And I did tell Mitch, and I did tell Mr. Nicholson, I'm frustrated right now, and my thing that I wanna do is sue the town. But their response
Okay,
was,
okay.
oh no, well, why don't the Board of Selectmen handle it and don't sue the town? And that's the reason why an
Okay.
agenda request was sent to Shelia Dibb
All right,
on
can you stop for
October
a second?
31st.
Can you stop for a second?
Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're talking about suing the town for that complaint, because it wasn't addressed. So, weren't your instructions different than coming here to the board? Were your instructions to go to the district attorney?
Well,
You just
No,
mentioned
no,
suing.
I understand.
Let me finish.
All right, go ahead.
You just mentioned suing the town,
Yes,
okay? So,
right, but
I'm not
suing the
sure
town
what
is a civil
what
issue.
you're doing here before the board then.
That's right, that's why I suggested that he compile it in writing, present it. You said 5 minutes, it's been 15 minutes. I'm not going through this every week, with all due
Oh,
respect.
no, I just want to get this over with. I don't want to be here every week either, but.
But it's still not clear what you are asking of this entity tonight,
It-
and and there's
Yeah.
public comment, and then there's a dissertation of
Right,
all different complaints from Warren or whatever.
yeah, I know,
'Cause
So I think it's, I mean, this is public comment, you don't have a right to public comment, we don't have to give
yeah, I know
public
that,
comment, but
yeah.
we will take whatever your information is in writing. We did have visibility on the response from Mr. Nicholson to you, okay?
Yeah.
He did not say that he's not going to meet with you, he was very clear, and he cited why. It was upon the advice of our chief counsel
Yes.
in there, that if you are making,
Well, I don't know.
sir, if
Yeah.
you are making criminal accusation against
Yeah.
members of our community, then you go to the district attorney's office and you file it, okay? I think he was clear.
Yeah.
We're not,
No, I-
I'm
no, I
not gonna go through this, I'm gonna make a motion that we move on or close public comment, and if you have something specifically, sir, that you want, that it be compiled in writing and submitted to the town administrator.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate your input,
Can
but
you hold on one
I've
second?
already filed
Hold
it.
on
I have a
one
motion.
second. Hold on one second.
I just want to clarify too, just, again, my thing is just the process that's been outlined, that's my only
Right, yeah,
thing here, is that because the complaint that you issued to the town, both in the email exchange we had last week
Right,
and
no, I
the
understand.
previous one, alleged that the police, fire chief, and dispatch director, which are the employees side of it,
yes,
are co-conspirators in your criminal accusation. That's where they fall into the full purview of this needs to be an investigation done outside the town. Just to ensure, one, proper impartiality,
right, I understand.
but two, just proper process for complaints of this nature. I understand that you say these are complaints against an employee,
Right.
but in doing so, you claim them as co-conspirators in a criminal accusation. So that's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just
but
put it
in
in
the
writing,
response to you, I also said there was a civil side and a criminal side. And the civil side would be under your jurisdiction according to the chart, because I have it right here, that says that you would address problems within the Rutland Regional Dispatch, that were civil, internal town issues, not the criminal items. So that's why I sent you that long email, because I understand what all of you are saying, but I see this as not just one lump thing. I see that this could be separated and saying we have criminal issues over here and civil issues over here.
Well, criminal,
And the
criminal
other thing,
supersedes it, so have you gone to the district attorney's office and say you have evidence of a crime? prosecutors?
well, that's exactly, well, I do have a question, and the question is this, I've already checked into that, and I guess we'll back up a step. So, this is the
You
plan.
have
this
to
is
get
the-
to, you have to get to the point of all this.
Yeah, I know, I'm just,
Without another
I know,
15 or
just
20 minutes,
let
what's
me
the point
finish,
of
okay.
your?
So, in regarding the criminal aspect, I would want criminal indictments.
We don't wanna hear about a
This is
criminal.
the Rutland Select Board.
We don't wanna hear
I'm
anything
not
about
asking you
criminal.
to do this, I'm just explaining it. Because what he's saying is he wants me to go to the district attorney's office. Those employees would be listed, I would supply the evidence, and if they went in front of a grand jury or were indicted, then that
Mr. Brill,
means, it's out of your
Through the chair.
hands and
Mr.
they're
Brill,
now
I
an
think-
indictment.
Just, hold on a second. I think what we're all trying to do is point you in the right direction to give you the proper outlet to voice those complaints. This is not the appropriate outlet. So you have the district attorney's office, you have the Mass State Ethics Board. Those would be your appropriate outlets to talk to. There's really no recourse for us as a board at this point with your form of complaint or your type of complaint, I think is what the town administrator is trying to convey.
Yeah.
If I may,
But I don't understand, but why was it that the town administrator had me file an agenda request for an executive session item that was sent to Sheila on October
I don't-
31st,
I
and there was
don't
no reply
believe-
back to that at all?
I don't
That was
believe
discussed
that,
last time.
I don't believe that was what was conveyed. I think, again, this is not the appropriate outlet for your type of complaint, and I think the town administrator has done more than his fair share of trying to point you in the proper direction to get this thing where you want it to be.
and if I may too, just the question of the civil versus the criminal, there's a nexus in between the two that connects the two, where the civil issue relates directly to the criminal accusation, so that's where the issue comes there. And nor do I have the authority to sit to talk about monetary restitution on an issue as well.
Yeah, in regards to the civil thing, right, I already discussed with you on the
Get
phone
control of this.
that,
Wait, Give him one more second.
I'm just trying to explain something else so what it is
One more paragraph,
regarding the
yeah.
20
civil
minutes
thing, was the employees misusing and texting, using personal cell phones for texting, which violates the social media policy of this town, which the board wrote. So
Okay.
that particular item
Sir,
would be
sir,
an item under
sir,
the
stop.
board, yes.
This all encompasses into one giant mess.
Yeah.
And the town administrator has already given you the avenues to address it.
Right.
So I think at this point, we need to move on.
Ask the answer.
Okay. And then the only other thing I have to add was, I did discuss with the town manager that if I go in the direction that I might wanna go, that I would get a cease and desist order on the Rutland Regional Dispatch Center, and you wouldn't have a dispatch center.
Okay,
We're moving on.
move on.
Thank you, sir.
So you're
Thanks for
saying
coming.
you want me to get a cease and desist order?
We're not saying that, we're saying we're done, this is public
Yeah.
comment, not public cross-examination. We appreciate you coming in, if you have something
Okay.
specific, put it in writing
And
and we'll.
so
try to
does
address
Sheila
it.
have any intention
No,
of putting
thank
it
you
on
for
the
your time,
agenda?
sir.
Can't speak for True, motion to move on, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So you're basically shutting off communication with me and you don't care
Yes,
what I do?
you've been given the avenues to.
Read the email that was sent, it's clear.
No, and again, I mean, you can, it's an open meeting, you can cover, there's nothing we can do.
Right. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for your time, appreciate
Thank you,
it.
sir.
There's nobody else here, so there's nothing else for public comment.
Tamika, do you have anything?
No? We have no correspondence to deal with? So if we have no other business, I'll take a
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Second it.
All right, all's fair?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.